you. So there was two Irish guys walked into it. No. So if you attend every class, you'll cover most of the applications boy, that we use all the time. All right. We use messages, we use email, we use calendar. Then we talk about reminders. Safari, using Safari. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So after the first three classes, whether or not you attend the previous class isn't that important because we'll have a new subject each time. The tip for the day is kind of a question to everybody. And that is, what iPad or iPhone do you have?
iPhone 8.
14.
All right.
6.
Now I'm going to share my screen so you can be looking at that.
Part of the iPad and one for the iPhone.
Okay.
So you need to pay attention to the iPhone.
So there's my iPhone and my iPad on the screen. Everybody see those?
Right. Yes.
Yes. Are your
Yes.
pictures down the right-hand side,
Yes.
or are they not?
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
I want to see if I can remove those.
But only without my seeing my own.
Can you see them now?
Yes.
Yes.
Your pictures down the left-hand side?
Yeah, on the right hand.
Right.
I'm sorry, right-hand side. Okay.
Okay.
I guess they're gonna have to stay there.
Okay.
Play.
All right. What I'd like everybody to do is go to settings. Now, for those of you who are brand new to your devices, the settings is this icon. The one I'm circling with my mouse. And so go to settings. And then scroll down the left-hand panel. We'll call this the left-hand panel. On your iPad, on your iPhone, it's the entire screen. And scroll down to where it says General. So I'm going to go to General in both devices. And then I'm going to tap the word About on both devices. All right.
Tap about.
Now, we're going to come back to this in the future, but I just wanted to let you know, it should say your model name right there. So for my iPhone, it says I have an iPhone 12 Pro. For my iPad, it says I have an iPad Air 3rd generation. Okay. And that particular iPad came out in 2019. The phone, the iPad, the phone, the Pro, iPhone Pro 12 came out in 2020. Okay. And if anybody wants that particular date, you just tell me what it says on yours. Okay. By the way, the iPhone started with just the plain iPhone, and it was a, they called it a 3G. And it's going 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we now have an iPhone. Is it 14 now? Yes.
Yeah.
Each one of, and let me bring that up.
I have a question.
A question from somebody?
Yes, it's me. It's Ann. It says on both of these devices that my Apple iPad and phone number are now being used for iMessage and FaceTime on a new iPhone. I don't have a new iPhone, so what are they talking about?
Uh-oh.
Maybe the iPhone you're using may be what they're calling a new iPhone. Okay,
Oh, I've had it for 3 years.
I know. And let me go to the Apple Store.
He's doing that on his phone right now.
If I look at the iPhone, here's the iPhone. Here's all the phones they're currently selling as new from Apple. And it kind of gives you the relative size of them as well. You have the iPhone Pro and the Pro Max, the 14 and the 14 Max,
Plus,
the 13 and the 13 Max kind of thing. Get the idea? And there's this phone. They've continued to carry the iPhone SE. And this is the model. This is the base model. Does most everything the big guys do, much better price. And they're still selling the iPhone 12. But you can see the difference in the sizes of them, relatively speaking.
right.
I'd like you to just observe one thing. Many of you out there may have a phone that has a little circle or a dot at the bottom. See where I'm circling?
Yeah.
That's called the home button, and that's going to be important in the future. You'll notice these other phones do not have it. Starting with, I think, iPhone 11, they eliminated the button. And we'll talk about, when I start talking about controls, those of you who have a button do things a little differently than those that do not have that little home button. On the iPad, okay, again, relative sizes. If here's the one that's the deal, the iPad new. I think the one we were talking about earlier was the iPad Air. And then there's the iPad Pro, which really gets larger. Okay.
Hmm.
Here's a picture of them in color. Okay. I'm going to take that, everybody, because I maybe somebody trying to get in. Was not. The iPad Pro comes in 2 different sizes. The iPad Air and the iPad. This is the one that costs, I'm sorry, this is just the straight iPad 10th generation. iPad 9th generation, that's the deal. It's $329. And then 449, I think that's the one somebody was mentioning. And then the iPad Air, newest generation, and you'll see how they go up in price. And basically that's the base price. And always available is the version called the iPad Mini. Little smaller, easier to handle, but it's more expensive than the iPad 9th generation. Okay,
Is this something that you would buy here, or are you better off buying it at a place like Costco?
Costco's good. I think it's just, I'm not sure it's the same price. Sometimes there is a sale on some of these. Yeah, Costco's fine.
Yeah, the iPad Air at Costco is $100 less than the Apple Store.
Is
Oh,
it?
Yeah, it's $4.99 right now. It says $5.99 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay. Make sure it's the right generation.
Okay,
Like it may be an earlier generation. I'm not sure. Let's see, the iPad Air, what are they working on now? The 4th generation was 2020. The 5th generation was 2022. I assume that's the 5th generation.
okay.
Right? That was the tip of the day. Which one do I have? And a little bit of information about the different iPads and iPhones that are out there. Any questions on that?
No,
All right. If everybody could just pick up your iPhone or your iPad, hold it in your hand. Doesn't weigh very much, does it? Do you realize that in your hand, there's more compute power than NASA had and on the second floor of the
Space Center.
it's Houston Center, Johnson Space Center, used to be a second floor there that was just loaded with computers.
Mm.
And all those computers were connected to terminals to the guys in front of them, to the guys that were helping with the launch. And those are the guys you saw when you looked through the glass and you saw all these guys in terminals. That computer on the second floor had less compute power than you're holding in your hand. The one you have in your hand can process at least 2, not million, but billion instructions a second. In other words, it can do 2 billion additions every second.
wow.
And I just, that amazes me as well.
yeah.
You think about it, if you look at any one of the screens and you look with a microscope, you would see little dots on it. And they're called pixels. And each dot can be a different color. So to generate the picture on your screen, the processor has to figure out what color every pixel is. Now that's pretty good to start with, but if you have a motion picture running, it's changing those dots every how many times a second? So
Here's what I found.
when you talk about 2 billion additions a second, doesn't seem like much if you have to modify all those dots multiple times every second. But that's how they do it. If you look, let's start with the iPad. If you look at the iPad, there are some features on it.
Okay, come over here now. I can't figure
One
out how to turn it up. Okay.
At the bottom
Let
called
me read
the,
it. Let me see. I gotta get something done here now.
Turn him off.
okay, I'm going to mute everybody and then you can unmute yourself to speak. By the way, another tip of the day, there's an easy way to unmute yourself. One way is if you press Alt on your keyboard and the letter A, it will mute. It's a toggle. Alt A will mute, Alt A will unmute. And I believe most of us can hold down the space bar on your keyboard and speak, and you'll be unmuted until you release the space bar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that works.
That works? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
You betcha.
You have to have the space bar down.
That does work.
Okay. I'm gonna turn off my iPad. Wait a minute, let me just, no, you have to be able to see it. No. All right. I'm looking at my iPad sideways. I have a home button on it. Okay, and we're not going to press it yet. But at the top of your iPad, that would be this corner right here. It's called the power button. If you strike it once, it shuts off your screen. You type it again, it opens up your screen. Now it just put your iPad to sleep. By the way, if you have a phone, that power button is on the side. I guess it was on the top at one time, but now it's on the side over here. And if you press it once, puts it to sleep. And you notice the terminology I'm using there. Put it to sleep. It doesn't turn it off. Every once in a while, you need to turn off your iPad so that it gets itself organized better and functions better. The way in which you turn off the iPad is if you have a home button, you press and hold the power button. I'm going to do it on the iPad. This is for those of you who have the button, right? You have a home button. And it says slide to power off. I'm going to do that. I'm going to slide it. And now my iPad is completely powered off. You can do the same with an iPhone that has a home button.
Question.
If you don't have a home button, you have to
Question
press.
before you go on to, before you leave that subject. If you press the button on your iPad, Siri comes up. It doesn't do.
That's because you don't have a home button.
No, I do have a home button on my iPad, and Siri's just saying, I don't understand.
No.
Me too.
Me too.
You don't press the home button.
I don't
You're
have a
pressing
home
it.
button.
You're
I'm-
pressing, if you have a home button,
Right?
you're going to press and hold the power button.
Oh, not the home button.
I got,
Not the home button.
Thank you.
All right. If you do not have the home button on any of your devices, on your device, you have to press the power button and the volume up button concurrently. In other words, at the same time. And I'm going to do that on my phone. I put my hand on the phone and then holding it with my thumb on the power button and my finger on the volume up, and I squeeze. And that happens, right? And then I slide to power that off.
Actually, Bill, if you press the volume up button, it didn't work. But if you press the volume down button, I got slide to power off. The volume
Yes,
down button.
by itself, and
No, not by itself, by the power button and the volume down button, not the up button.
Well, the volume, I'll try that. Yeah, that works as well. Either one.
So how long do you leave it off and you just press the side to turn it
Okay.
on again?
Now I'm sliding to power off. Now I have both devices off. Right? In order to turn them on, you press and hold the power. Now, wait a minute, before I do that. Why do I do this? Good question. You're just complicating my life, Bill. Why do you want me to do all this? Any of you have a junk drawer at home?
A what?
A junk drawer.
Of
You
course.
know, you just throw things in. Some of you say, which one is not a junk drawer?
I think we all have
Isn't
junk rooms.
Isn't it nice to just organize it once in a while so you can actually see where the pencils are and the erasers and the paper clips, etc.? Okay, that's what you're doing for the iPad and the iPhone when you power down. You're allowing it to rearrange the junk drawer so that things are easier to find and they work more smoothly. It will perform better. Okay?
So do you recommend turning it off every night?
I'd recommend turning it off at least once a week.
Okay.
Okay? More often is great. I turn mine off every night. But you don't have to. In order to turn them back on, you press and hold the power button and don't give up on it. You just keep holding it until the apple appears on the screen. Press and hold the power button and you keep holding it. And you hold it and you hold it and you hold it until the apple appears on the screen and then you release it. And it takes a while for it. This is equivalent to restarting your computer. And it takes a while for everything to get loaded and get started. It comes up, asks for your passcode. You enter your passcode and you're off and running. Okay.
Bill, question, when you say leave it off, are you just talking about for a few minutes or are you talking about overnight?
Couple minutes.
Did I
So
hear
if
you
you-
say minutes?
If you have followed this and done it, you've performed your exercise for the week and you'll
Oh, we
forget how to
couldn't
do
hear you, Bill. How long do you leave it off? We could not hear you.
before you bring it back up. A minute, 2 minutes. You know, the thing I should mention to everybody before I do this is, do you have a passcode for your device? Because you need to enter that passcode. All right,
That's not a good question. Where do we find our passcode?
you don't. It's written down somewhere. It's the code that's required to log into your device. When you first turn it on, it comes up with a screen and what's the 4-digit code. or 6-digit code, whatever you might have. And I just put mine in and away we go. Everybody okay? Anybody not okay? I guess is what I should say. Okay,
Why do some people have 4 passcode digits and some have 6?
you can actually change that. You can change it to be 4 or 6. You can even make it a word. You can change it to be a longer code if you would like. And there's a way to do that in settings, Jim, and we can get to that next time.
Okay.
But yeah, some have 4. Initially, I think they come up and want 6. And you can change it. It says when you're putting it in, it says something like options. And you can switch it to 4. Okay? All right. As you look around your iPhone, we'll talk about the iPhone first. As you look around your iPhone, physically, there's the power button we've talked about. There's also the volume up and volume down. On your phone, there's a little, and I'll point to where it is. There's a little opening over here on the left-hand side as you look at your face of your phone. And you can use your fingernail to slide that little indicator toward the back of the phone or toward the front of the phone. I call it the church button. If you flick it down, it silences your phone. It cannot make any sound. It's a mute. And if you look real closely in there, you'll be able to see a little red line when it's down or forced toward the back. Okay, so it's a quick way if you're in the movie theater or in church to just don't bother me, don't ring, don't do anything. Okay.
Bill, this is Joan. I found out the hard way. It does not silence your own alarms.
It does, I think, are you sure? Joan?
That's what happened to me.
And you had that on and it made an alarm sound?
Put the church button on. My own alarm came through.
Hold on, let me try it. Set timer for 1 minute.
1 minute counting down.
And I have it on, right? I have the church button on. And we'll see what happens.
Okay. Now that's
Now,
not.
there is no,
That's
there
a tough
is no equivalent button on your iPad at this point. So you have volume up, volume down. By the way, there are speakers on the lower part of your iPad. So this is the right side of my iPad, has some speakers down here. It has a camera up here. My iPad does not have a oh, it does. It has one camera on the back, but it does not have a flash on the back. Now, I will tell you, my watch is going off, but my phone is not. So it didn't happen when I had that timer.
Well, that's a
Didn't get
timer rather than an alarm. I'm sorry. It was an alarm that went off on mine.
This was supposedly an alarm.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
set
it's
an
fine.
alarm for I'll check that too. Set an alarm for 11, or sorry. No, 11 o'clock. I don't want that one. Set an alarm for 10:45. Okay, so we're going to see if that goes off too. All right.
Oh, I just tried it and my alarm went off.
Did it, Bill?
Yes.
You made it. Everybody's, that's a
I'm
good one.
trying it too.
Okay, so am I. All right. Where was I? Oh, on your phone, there is a camera on the front of the phone. It's called the FaceTime or selfie camera. On my phone, on the back, there are 3 cameras and a flash. Depending on the model of your phone, you'll have different configurations there. There's also a light sensor on the back. Somewhere on your phone, probably on the bottom, well, there's a microphone at the bottom of your phone. So when you have your phone to your ear, one of those holes in the bottom is for the microphone. And there's a speaker at the top so that you can hear when you have it to your ear. There are also speakers at the bottom of your phone.
I see nothing on the top, no speakers. I have 11.
No, they would be not at the top, but in that it's a blank area right up here is where they put the speakers and a microphone up there. So when you put your phone to your ear, you hear it from the top part of your phone. What else do we have? Ah, yes. See the little hole at the bottom? And I'm going to switch cameras here for a minute.
Bill,
The little hole right here in the bottom of your device is where you plug it in to charge it. Somebody had a question? I'm sorry.
actually, it's not on the subject, but I just got a message that some of my passwords have appeared in a data leak. I've been compromised in a data leak. What do I do next?
Change your passwords.
Okay, how do you do that? Or where do you go? You go to settings and then passwords and go from there, or how?
Well, hopefully, I'm thinking you have multiple passwords.
Yes.
Does it tell you which password?
No, it just went away. Several
I
years.
understand.
Yeah, I just, the message across the top went away.
I understand. You have to go, and I know I have a list of about 200 websites or places I go where I enter a password. And you have to start going through that list and changing the password everywhere.
Sounds like fun. Takes,
Oh, yeah.
fortunately,
I did it.
I have the rest of the day, which apparently it will take. All right, thank you.
Well, I did mine, and I did them I spent an hour, and then another hour, another day, etc. Till I got through them all.
Okay, thank you.
The general thing on passwords, you should have at least 3 different ones. One for your banking, one for your communications. That would be your email, your messages, message apps, and things like that. And then one for everything else. They should all be 8 letters or more, or 8 characters with letters, capital letters, special characters, and numbers in each one.
Hey,
Anyway.
sorry to interrupt, but it just came up and it panicked me thinking, oh no, what happened? Anyway, thank you.
We're taking the opportunity to address that, because we'll talk about it more when we get to passwords. But
Thank you so much.
we're going around the edge. Oh, I'm talking about the hole at the bottom. The hole at the bottom, we usually use it to just charge our device. It can also be used to by plugging the cable, the charging cable, into it and then removing it from the power block and plug it into our computer. And we can transfer pictures or communicate to our computer through that cable. And then there are a myriad of other things that plug into it. And I have a whole bunch of them here. Okay, my watch is going off and my phone is not.
My phone is.
And you have that church button down.
I did exactly what you said.
No, the church button looks red.
It's on red. Yeah, it's on red.
And your phone is going off?
Yes.
Maybe
Well,
different version.
I must have a difference in the settings, so we'll get to that too. Not today, but we will get to that. Interesting. All right.
Good
I have all
question.
these.
How do I turn it off?
Well, you're not going to be able to now. You should be able to touch the screen somewhere and it would stop.
It finally did. Sorry.
Okay, it's all right. Here's one, this adapter where you can plug a USB into it. That's USB-C or the normal USB. Here's one where you can plug in a card from a camera. Let me get it here. Where is it? All right. Here's one where you can plug in a monitor or display. Okay, so there are many different adapters you can have that plug into that little slot. Now, most of us don't use those, right? And then you have these things.
Oh, earbuds.
They're earbuds. Now you may have a little port for the earbuds, or they may plug into that same power plug or power hole that's on your iPhone and iPad. All right, everybody?
Yep.
And one of the things that's on there, let me get this here. In case you didn't know this, you know, you have your earbuds, these guys.
Yep.
The wired ones have this little dongle or little contraption in the middle. And it's where you can turn the volume up and the volume down while you're listening. And you can just tap that volume up and volume down. If you happen to have this plugged in and you want to take a picture with it, with your device, let's say my iPhone, instead of tapping the iPhone to take the picture, you hit the volume up or volume down on this and it will take a picture. This is a really cool feature. When you're taking pictures, you don't need to touch the screen and jiggle the screen while you're trying to take a picture. You just press this button and it causes the shutter to go on the camera.
Does it have to be a wired earplug?
I haven't tried it on the wireless one. And anybody know the answer to that one? So I'd have to play with that a little bit on the wireless one. I usually put the wireless one in just to listen to music. But I haven't tried bringing up the camera and see if it would work. Okay. Any questions about all that? Inside your iPhone, there is a myriad of antennas, first of all. There's an antenna in there to talk to the cell phone towers. And there may be more than one to talk to the cell phone towers. There's an antenna inside your phone and they wrap around the phone on the inside. There's an antenna in there to talk to the wireless router that you have in your home. On your iPhone, there's an antenna in there to talk to a different one, to talk to my earbuds that are wireless. It's called a Bluetooth antenna. And there's one more so that I can take my phone and again, I'm not going to show you how to do this right today, but if I bring up my wallet and I tap that credit card, and now if I swipe my phone over the Publix credit card reader, it will automatically transfer my credit card information to the reader and deduct the charge from my credit card.
That is
So I
amazing
don't need to take,
technology.
so I don't need to take my wallet with me anymore. I just take this, tap the credit card. If I want to use this credit card, I tap that one and go, and it shows me the charges that I've made with it. Okay. Four different antennas in there. How much memory do you have on your device? Anybody know? If you don't know, I'd like everybody to go to, on your both devices, your settings, go to settings again. Go down to general, tab general.
No, you need to go back to
Settings.
sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Bill. Go to general and tap about. We were just there a minute ago, right? Some information there. First of all, it tells you the version you have. It says iPad iOS version 16 and iOS version 16.1.2. I think those are both up to date. Anybody have something more current than that, a higher number on those two?
I have the same as you.
Okay. If you scroll down in that menu, either one, it says my capacity is 64 gigabytes on my iPad, and my capacity on my iPhone is 128 gigabytes. It says on my phone I have 1,509 songs, 3,334 pictures, and 301 applications. And if I have all that on there, I only have, of the 128, I have 47.5 left. One song, 73 videos, about the same number of photos on both devices, but I have 338 applications, and I have 34 gigabytes left. How many of you know what a gigabyte is?
1,000 bytes.
It's more
Anybody
than a
know what a
byte.
gig? What is it?
It's more than a byte.
It's more than one. If you ask any of your
It's
grandchildren.
1,000 bytes.
No. It's a billion bytes, not 1,000, not 1,000,000, but 1,000,000,000 is a gigabyte.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
To give you an idea, in 1 byte, you can put a letter or a number or a question mark of information, okay? So each byte could contain a letter, a number, anything that represents something on the keyboard. Okay? So I wondered how I could best explain this, and I said, well, how many characters are there in a book, a paperback book? So I sat down last night and I pulled up one of my wife's novels, and I counted the number of letters, numbers, spaces, periods in the book. No, I didn't do that. I opened the book to the middle and I just counted 1 line. And as I counted across, I got all the periods, the spaces, the letters, numbers, question marks, everything that was there in 1 line, multiplied it by the number of lines on a page, and then multiplied that by the number of pages in the book. And I came up with over 1,000,000. So 1 book takes 1,000,000 characters, or is 1,000,000 characters, and takes 1,000,000 bytes. So everybody follow that so far? Just shake your head. Oh, I'm lost you a long time ago, Bill. A million bytes. Well, there's 1,000 million in 1,000,000,000, or 1 gigabyte. Did you just say, Bill, I can put 1,000 books in 1 gigabyte? Yes, I did. 1,000 books in 1 gigabyte.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I have 128 gigabytes, like I do on my phone there, it says 128 gigabytes. I can put 128,000 books on my iPhone.
Jeez.
This is true.
Oh my God.
If you get that many in there, though, you won't be able to lift your phone.
Wow.
I'm kidding on the second part of that. By the way, a picture takes about the same space as a book. 1 picture, 1 book. So you could also, if you didn't want to put books on there, you could put 128,000 pictures.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's all that programming and all those applications and all that kind of stuff that are in there. So it's taken quite a bit of space out of the 64 or 128 gigabytes you have. The rest of it is used by you in terms of your applications, your pictures and your songs, and the books you have there. Okay? So the next time you ask your grandchildren, what's a gigabyte? And they'll just say a lot. And you can just say, well, it's 1,000 million bytes. And their eyes will glass over just like yours did. All right. Every time they come out with a new iPhone or iPad, the things they change are the speed at which There are several things that change. One of which is the speed in which it works. It works fast. If I compared my iPhone to an older one and we both tapped it at the same time to do a function, mine hopefully would work faster because it has a more advanced processor in it. The second thing they focus on is the quality of the display, how crisp and lively the display is. And the third thing they change is the camera. They make the camera, every time you take a picture, it takes more pixels. They call it a 12 megapixel picture or a 24 megapixel picture, right? So the quality of the cameras gets better. And in my particular case, I got 3 cameras. All right. Any questions about any of that?
Yeah, I just wonder why we need to have something that's speedier. For instance, my 11 Pro is probably almost as speedy as your 12, if not, it's not the same. And we're all slowing down, so I don't know why we need a bigger speed. The display is quite good in any of these, and the camera quality, I don't know how it can get any better than what we had of old. So why do we need to change our iPhones?
Keep Apple in business. I don't get one every. I don't get a new iPhone or iPad every generation. Some people do just to brag, I guess. But yeah, and most of us, those particular features aren't very obvious. So until your phone stops working or the battery starts needing to be recharged more frequently and gets to the point where you need to change the battery, and it's more costly, it's pretty costly to change the battery, you might want to consider getting a new device. Most of us break our screens, the battery dies or something like that before its usable life is over. All right. So you turned on your device and you have a screen that looks similar to one of the ones I have up here. You have these little icons. Yes?
Oh, yes.
No, maybe, I don't know. Do you have the little icons on your screen?
Yes.
Yes.
And there's a bunch up here and there's a bunch down here. The bunch up here, what's each icon called, by the way?
Oh.
Well, the general term is an app or an application.
Oh.
In PC terms, it's a program. So if I wanted to use the Notes program, I would click here or tap there. If I wanted to use the Photos program, I would tap there. So all those icons are apps or programs. The ones that are down here are on the dock, DOC. You can put a maximum of 4 on your iPhone.
Yep.
And a maximum of, I think, 13 across here. So I can put one more down there, can I? Okay. Now you saw on the previous chart that I had 300 and some applications, 300 plus applications on my iPad. The three dots down at the bottom represent the number of home screens that I have. So I have 1, 2, 3 home screens on the iPhone, on the iPad. And on the iPhone,
But
I also have 3.
We
You
might
know,
all have something different, right?
I hope you do. Okay, you may have more or less home screens. And just to talk a bit about the gestures on your phone or your iPad. If I put my finger here and I drag it this, whoops. If I put my finger here and drag it that way, right? Or I can go back. The same on my phone. There are many other gestures you can do from the home screen. If you put your finger up here on the corner and pull down, you get something called the notification center. If you put your finger in the upper right-hand corner and pull down, you get something called the control center. Now, if you have an older iPad, you have to put your finger or iPhone on the bottom and pull up. Now, when I say on the bottom, I'm actually saying off the screen, and you pull down. So it's way up here at the top. You put your finger off the screen and then pull down. Okay?
Yep.
That makes sense to everybody?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
A couple of special ones there. For those of us who do not have a home button, if we put our finger off the screen on the bottom, that would be down here, and we pull up. Let me try it again. And stop in the middle. In other words, let me try it. Let me show you actually how it does it. I put my finger clear down here at the bottom, and I go up and stop in the middle. And you have this show up. If you have a home button, double tap the home button quickly. Tap, tap. So with the home button, you go tap, tap, and you get these little icons that show up. Without the home button, you put your finger on the bottom of the screen and pull up slowly and stop in the middle. And then take your finger off the screen.
Doesn't work.
Oh, it does
Say again,
work.
please.
Well, it didn't do anything for me. It just stops and comes back again.
What stops, Ann?
The iPhone that does not have a button.
Okay, put your finger off the screen on the bottom, slide it up the screen and stop in the middle. And then lift your finger off.
Stays the same.
Doesn't work?
Or no, and sometimes it goes.
It's good.
If nobody else has that problem, go on.
Anybody else having that issue? We could have a hand lotion issue. That does affect it sometimes. Everybody able to do that? Put your finger off the screen at the bottom, slide it onto the screen into the middle of the screen and stop. And then lift your finger off. Make sure you're on your home screen, Ann. Are you on your home screen to start with?
If my home screen is the one that gives me the temperature and.
No, no.
Oh, it's not.
It has to be this screen.
Well, that's the one with a clock and the.
Well, it depends on what you have on there. That's true.
Well, yeah, the only other thing to the right is the one that has, things that are suggestions.
You're on your iPad?
No, I'm on my phone.
Where's the suggestions?
Well, actually, it says Saturday the 7th. It's got pictures as how to track your fitness and DeSantis and federal something or other, 62 degrees in Sarasota, just a bunch of icons.
That look like mine. Just icons there, right?
It's what I call my first page.
And do you have any apps running?
I think I turned them all off.
Thank you, Bill. That's why, Ann.
It sounds to me
like
she's on one.
You go up here and you stop. You'll see that there are a lot of apps that are running.
Oh, I've wiped all those out.
Well, that's why you don't get anything.
Oh,
You see them
I didn't
here?
look them.
Now, what I'd like everybody to do who sees these is I'd like you to put your finger on one of them. Let's say this one, and pull it up. And you pull it clear off the screen. And these are, you're stopping the apps that are currently running.
You do this. You don't have any. I took them off. See,
Now, you could have hundreds of these, so you need to start doing it.
He's getting rid of them right now.
As you can see, I have quite a few running. On my iPad, I did it last night, so I only have 2 running. Now, if I pull it at the bottom and come up to the middle screen and stop, I don't get anything, man.
I had taken them all away, and that's why I have nothing running. Okay.
Bill, when you turn off your phone, does it close down these apps?
No,
No, you have to do it the way you just showed us manually, right? Okay.
perfect, Judy, perfect. Okay. So if you turn off your phone and you start it again, those apps are reinitiated. So far, so good?
So,
All right. One of the things you can do
only someone.
is rearrange the apps you have. Now, what we're going to do now
Oh,
is just exercise to get used to swiping and pushing the finger around and things like that. Okay,
Okay.
and so I'm on my iPad here. I have all these apps here. What I can do to change the apps that are down on the bottom. The ones on the dock, by the way, are there and they stay there no matter which home screen you're on. So the idea is to put the most frequently used ones down here so that they're always available to you. Now, I just want to go through an exercise, and we're working with gestures now. I'm going to press anywhere on the home screen and just don't move your finger. You press and the apps start wiggling. They get all scared. What are you going to do to us? What are you going to do to us? Okay. You see where the minus sign is there? I can click on that and allow me to delete the app. Don't want to do that. So I'm going to cancel that. But I can also take two apps and combine them and save some space. And if I do that, I'm going to take notes. I'm going to take files and put it with notes. Okay. So I'll take files here. I'm going to put my finger on it, drag it, and put it on top of notes. Whoops. Didn't want to do that. I'm going to put it on top of notes here. Whoa, stop it. I got the delay happening, so hold on. And let me move it over here. Nope. Put it on top notes and then release. And now I have a folder that has two apps in it. And Apple even went to the trouble of putting a title on it, saying you're going to call this particular folder productivity. Now, if I don't want that name, we're going to learn a little bit more here. I would click the X, it would delete what's on productivity and allow me to type what I would like to make it. So I'm going to do the same thing with my phone. I'm going to combine two. Okay. And it named that one productivity as well. I'm going to delete the word productivity, and I delete that by clicking on the X. So you see, when I have an X in a box and I click it, it deletes what's in the box. And then I tap up there and I'm going to make it stuff. And then I'm going to hit the arrow there at the bottom to say I'm done. Oh boy, spelled it wrong. Ha. So let me delete it again. S-T-U-F-F. So now that particular folder is called stuff. Everybody give that a try. And go ahead and ask a question if you're having trouble with it. But then you're going to say to me, well, Bill, I don't want to have those two combined. In order to uncombine them, I would open that folder, press my finger on the screen to get them to shake. And then I would put my finger on one of them and pull it down So the folder disappears and the home screen reappears. And then I put it right there. And I still have another one in stuff, so I'm going to open stuff. I'm going to pull reminders out of stuff, down, 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 till it's out of the folder, and then reposition it on the home screen. Okay? If I wanted to change what's on the dock, I could pull something off the dock and put something else on the dock.
Bill,
Yeah.
for the maximum that you can have on the dock in an iPhone.
Yes. What I'd like you all to do is make your dock look like mine right now. If you have an iPhone, if you have an iPad, what do I want to do there? Make sure that you have on your iPad one called Contacts, that's this one. One called Photos, that's this one. And one with the date on it. Make sure you have at least those three. If you don't, if you have some, pull them off and put these on it. And it's just an exercise to try to get you used to moving things around.
I have a question, Bill. Why do some of my apps say waiting or yeah, they're not in dark color and it says waiting or loading?
They're downloading updates to it, probably.
Like I have 4 icons that are not bright. They're dull colored and it says waiting. Does that mean my iPad is loaded too full or something?
Probably not. Are you on the internet right now with it?
I am on my internet on my computer, but I guess I don't see it. Oh, yes, I am on my iPad.
Yeah, I better talk about those things there as well. I'll get there. Go ahead and click on it. Click on one that says waiting.
And then a white circle comes up.
And now it's starting to download it.
It says unable to download item. Please try again later.
There you go. So there's something wrong with your internet connection or Apple Store connection that's preventing that from happening.
Do I need to call Apple?
No, no. Try it again later.
Okay, but this has happened before. It'll say loading or it'll say waiting.
Right. When it says loading, you're good. Because that little circle will fill in. Let me next
Not
time.
necessarily, it can say loading and you can sit there for 3 days and nothing happens.
Yeah, yes, I've experienced that too.
It's your internet connection then.
I call Comcast or Xfinity.
Yes, that would be the reason. And we can talk about that later, but
Thank
yes.
Bill, I question. We haven't gotten to the second screen yet, the one where you go past the home screen with all of the icons. But if I have
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Wait, hold on. If I have duplicate icons on screen 2 that I have on screen 1, if I delete something, will it get rid of the whole thing or just the one on the page?
Give me time to get to that.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
I have to make sure.
I found this on the web.
I think you're looking at this screen. Is that right?
Hold on. When you move over to the second screen. not
Yeah,
the
you
home
get
screen.
one, looks like this.
Right, and if you have the same app on that screen that you have on the first screen.
I have to get to that, so yeah, I
Okay,
will
okay,
get there.
fine. All right, thank you.
Yep. Up here at the top, there's some icons, as well as icons over here on the right. Here's the time and date on my iPad. This little indicator is your cellular connection. The number of bars there indicate the quality of your, or how close, basically how close to cell phone tower you are. The fan, I'll call this the fan, indicates if you have a Wi-Fi connection or not. On my iPad, I have a Wi-Fi connection, but I don't have a cellular connection because I don't have cellular capability on my iPad. It can't talk to the cell phone towers. Both give you an indication of your battery and battery life. And I'm going to plug in my iPad right now. And you notice how that battery on mine put a lightning bolt through it, saying I'm charging it. Okay, everybody? And I've forgotten what that one is. Okay, some people mentioned to me that if I have 3 dots down here at the bottom. And if I go to, now I have 3 dots at the bottom. And I'm on the second dot. There's the third dot. If I go one more screen from sweeping from right to left, we should all have something that looks similar to this. What they have done in a previous version, well, oh, there's the icon that you guys were talking about, right? And you'll notice I have a little circle that's filling in. It's updating that particular application. And when it finishes, you're done. Here's one on travel. See it? And it's updating the travel app. It's updating something in here. A lot of updates are happening. Good. And what they've allowed us to do is you can put whatever number of applications, you can put a number of applications on your home screen. But you don't need to put all the applications on your home screen that you have. And so if I could have just this one page of applications, the rest of the applications could be in what's called the app library. The app library lists every application you have. So Kathleen, every application is listed here. A subset of the applications are on my home screens. What Apple has done is they said, well, I'm going to try to arrange those applications in some categories. Recently added, utilities, productivity. See how it's tried to? And it's put these applications in here. For example, if I go to one, they have labeled creativity here, and I open that, I have all these applications in there. So I need to make a couple points here. One is, if you decide to delete an application, like I want to delete a photo widget. See photo widget there? I get it to wiggle. Well, let me get them to wiggle here. Come on. And I hit the minus sign on that application. It comes up and says delete app. That will remove it from my iPad. Remove it from the home screen. It will remain in the photo library. It will not be on any one of my home screens. Now, let me repeat that. If I select SNN News, hit the minus sign, and I say delete app, it removes it from my iPad. I can go back to the Apple Store and get it. If I click on remove from home screen, it takes it from the home screen, but it's back here in the app library. And say, well, Bill, I can't find it in all that mess. Right? Well, if you tap the word app library at the top, and I will do that, it lists all the apps that you have on your device in alphabetical order. And I can go clear down here and I can find SNN, hopefully, or SSN or whatever it was. There it is. And I can put it back on my home screen. I put my finger on it and I can drag it and put it back on my home screen. Now, I did one thing there I haven't taught you yet. I said I want to move, let me say I want to move my Nest app to a different screen. I go across the screen, hold it on the edge, and see how it goes through various screens, and then I can drop it.
How
Let
did
me
you
do
get,
it the other.
how
Go
did you,
ahead.
how did you get the list when you had that list that was a list instead of?
This list, I was
Uh,
on this screen. I was on this screen.
Mhm.
I'm glad you asked that. And I tapped right up here.
Uh-huh.
And
Ah,
there's the list. Now, I could even go to the extent of typing in what I was after.
Wait a minute, Bill, show,
SNN, and there it is.
how did you get that again?
Sure, I can do that again. And let me use the right term here. I'm going to go to the app library.
Yes,
So I do that by sweeping from right to left one additional time, and the app library shows up.
yeah,
If I tap app library,
oh,
it lists them in alphabetical order. So this is every app I have on my device,
yes.
many of which are not on the home screen or any one of the home screens.
And then once you get to that, how do you get it back?
How do I do what?
Once you get that list there, how do you get the app back on the home screen?
Oh, so you took an app off the home screen.
Yes,
Well, let's assume I want to put this one back on.
yep,
I put my
Try again.
I put my finger on it and I drag it.
Don't understand. Put my finger on it.
oh, I see. Okay,
And I
okay.
drag it back onto the home screen.
Okay.
I think this is about knots, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not. It's not about knots. I don't even remember what that app does. Okay,
Uh,
and now
Bill?
I want to take, yes, go ahead.
I was still concerned that I had the same duplicate on the page 1 of the apps as I do on the page 2. Why would I have it listed in 2 different pages?
Well, let me see if I can, you're saying, let me see if I can go back and get that app. Yeah. Just a minute. What was the name of that app? There it is.
DEMOS.
Yeah, there it is. And I'm going to drag it again.
It enables people to learn to love math.
So there it is. And there it is. So I'll put my finger on it. Hit the minus sign and remove from home screen. And I still
Oh.
have it on this home screen. Okay,
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Solve that.
okay,
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Good.
Solve that problem.
all right. That's a good exercise to go through. So we've talked about so far. We said if I want to do anything in terms of the general applications, I get them to wiggle by holding my finger on the screen and they start moving around. I can remove them from the dock and put others back on the dock. I can take one and move it to a different page by putting it on the edge here, and I'll put it on this whole blank page. I can take it back. Well, I'm going to take it back down here and put it on the dock. Okay. And you'll see what I've done. I have a bunch of applications on my home screens. Let me get these two pulled out. I can create a folder, right? And what I did after I got my iPad and I got all these applications on here, I put them in folders and then I named the folders. So I have all kinds of folders of stuff, right? Like dumb stuff here, right? Here's one if you have a cat. Oh, cap doesn't work anymore. No. Let me go to, I'll go to the beer app here. No, I'm gonna do it again. Okay, and I can drink the beer. And when I'm done drinking the beer, it burps. That classifies as dumb stuff. Okay, and I want to show you this video just as a class break right now. Well, I hope it comes up. It will. And I want to make sure my volume is turned up. It is. Okay, you can't hear it, but you can see what they're saying. She's speaking in German, actually. And she's asking her dad how she likes the new iPad she got her. Notice what he has in his hand. Look at her expression.
God,
He's
that's
saying,
funny.
My iPad works fine.
Oh, that's cute.
All right.
I think
right.
I'm with him.
All right. Any questions about the apps and the app library?
Bill,
Go.
okay. I did that productivity thing that you did. And I put my Herald Tribune and the Wall Street Journal together, and then I took them out. But now that they're out, they don't really work the way they used to work. So what can I do to make them do the way they used to do?
I guess I'm not following you. I have one here called news, and I have all these different news sources. Now, what do you say it doesn't work like they used to?
Okay, so I got rid of the folder and put the apps from the folder back onto the home screen.
Right.
And then I tried to open one of them and it wouldn't really work. It wouldn't open and I can't figure out how to do it.
Well, that didn't, it may not have worked before.
It did work before.
Let me take one of these, right? I'm going to take,
Take the Wall Street
Oh.
Journal.
Yeah,
where's Wall Street? Yeah, I'll take Wall Street Journal. We'll drag it out of there.
yep,
We'll put it on the home screen.
yep.
Now they're still wiggling, so I tap the screen to stop them from wiggling.
Yes.
And then I tap Wall Street Journal and it should come right up. Okay. That work or not, Jim?
Mine doesn't do that. Well, I can get I do get an article in the Wall Street Journal, but I can't get like, say, the beginning of it or my Wall Street Journal. Well,
It opens the app wherever the app was, and then you just start using it as you normally would. Right? And there's page one. There's the US News. I'm tapping the word menu. You may be into a how to use the app versus anything we did with productivity. All right. I'm going to stop it right there because we've covered a lot of material. And what I want to pick up on next week, and you're going to say, well, that's kind of stupid, Bill. We're going to talk about the keyboard and how to use the keyboard to start the class next week. The keyboard is probably the most used interface to your iPad. And so what we'll be talking about next time is all the shortcuts and things you can take to make it easier to use the keyboard. Okay? And I didn't want to start it now because most of us are saturated pretty good with what I've covered. And I want to say, do you have any questions, general, about anything or about what I've covered?
Bill, I
Anybody?
have one. I don't have a keyboard on my iPad, an extra keyboard. I have it within the iPad. Will it
Correct.
still work what you're going to teach? Will it still work?
Yes.
Okay,
I will
thank
focus
you.
especially on that. She's
Okay.
saying, I have an external keyboard on my iPad, not on my iPhone. So when I want a keyboard on my iPhone, it shows up like that.
Okay.
On my iPad, if I think I can get the keyboard to show up. Mhm. It shows up like that. So that's the one you're talking about, Judy?
Yes, yes.
And we'll talk
Yeah.
about how to use that.
How do you find it? How did you find that? The keyboard?
How did I find the keyboard? Do you have an external keyboard or an?
No,
only-
no, mine is like that too, that you have to bring it up.
What do you want for lunch? What are you gonna get?
The question was, Donna, do you have an external keyboard?
No,
Okay.
no.
Whenever you go a place where you need to type,
Get shrimp
and you
salad.
touch the screen at that particular place, that keyboard will
Well,
appear.
Oh,
They
okay.
have real good soup.
Well, they have
You know, kind of says, oh, you need a keyboard. Yes. You kind of see, you say, I need a keyboard now. So if I go to Safari, which is right, and I tap this line up here, that says, oh, you want to type something. Let me do it on my phone let me go to Safari. Comes up like that. And if I tap the top line, the keyboard shows up saying, yo, you wanted to type something in that area.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bill,
I
That's
heard
the
a
general.
strange,
So say again,
I heard a
please.
strange comment. I heard a strange comment this morning from a friend. She wanted me to help her on her Android, and I said, "Oh, I'm not an Android person. I'm an iPhone person." And she said, "My cardiologist said I can't have an iPhone because of my defibrillator, my pacemaker." I've never heard that before.
Is her pacemaker tapped, have an Android interface?
I don't know.
That might be the reason. In other words, you can't
okay.
control the pacemaker from the iPad or iPhone, only from the Android. I can't think
I
of
didn't
another reason.
realize, didn't realize that you controlled pacemakers from external devices.
Yeah, you can, I think. You can control a lot of
I just
things.
thought that was, yeah, I just thought it was an interesting comment, and I've never heard it before.
I have not heard it either. But that's an interesting why. I guess I
And
would have
my-
asked the doctor. I
my
have an
husband
iPhone.
had
I'm not
one.
going out. I'm not going to go out and spend the money for that.
Bill, my husband had a pacemaker for years and used one, so there was no problem. So
You know, he had
there
But
might be
see,
an answer.
maybe it was specific to that version. And when we go back to the heart doctor, I'm going to ask him if he's ever heard of that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Bill, in the chat, there was a message from Marcia who asked if it was possible to alphabetize the apps. And I just think that you showed us how to do that when you go
We'll
into
go
the
with
app library.
Yes. I had
We-
asked that question and now I have eliminated 3 pages worth of icons because now the alphabetized list is more easily accessible.
That's
So thank
correct.
you very much. That
So
has
you
been,
went-
that is very-
You know, so everybody can recall that. We went to the app library screen and tapped the word app library at the top, and it alphabetizes the list.
Mhm.
Bill, I do have another question. Will you
Go.
be getting into at some point the calendar?
Oh, yeah,
And how- Oh, okay,
that's in the 7th week.
perfect. I will mark
get it.
my calendar and make sure I attend that one. Thank you.
Bill, my question
Yes.
is, I'm having difficulty locating how to get to the sessions. Is there any place I can go that I can register for all all of your sessions and add them to my calendar? Or do I have to do it one at a time?
Kathleen, you don't even need to send me a note. I keep the list of a master list of all the people who have taken my class,
Uh-huh.
and they all automatically get invited.
Oh, okay.
So if you're in this class today, you're there because I sent you an invite. You won't need to ask for it again.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Let me stop sharing here and talk to you about some more Irish guys. Hold on. Real. I think my battery's gone. Yeah. Hold on a sec. Wow. I'm in trouble. Wow. All right. I'm gonna talk to you about the Irish guys without seeing you. So there was two more, the guy, what was it, Jerry was left or was, oh, Patty was left. In our beginning joke there, Patty was left looking over the cliffs. And a minute later, Simon arrives at the cliff. He too was at the pet shop and he was carrying a cage with a parrot in it. Right? And he also had a shotgun with him. So imagine this, Patty's there, his guys just died on the rocks. Simon shows up with a parrot and a shotgun. And he says, I saw this on Facebook. I want to try it out. So he walks to the edge of the cliff, puts the parrot on his shoulder. He's holding the shotgun in his hand and he jumps off the cliff. He flips over and the parrot goes flying away. He flips over on his back and starts shooting at the parrot. Of course, he misses him and he goes flat on the rock and he dies. And he looks over and he says, I'm not going to try parachuting either. All right.
Oh, God, makes me ashamed to be Irish.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. Next week, we're going to cover keyboard and settings session 1. All right. Hopefully you got something out of this in terms of beginning and getting very comfortable with your device. All
Still
right?
make sure you read your chats.
Oh, did I have more in the chat that I didn't catch? For
Okay.
some reason,
A nice
for
one at
some
the
reason.
end.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Bill.
All right,
you,
take
Bill.
care, everybody. Yep,
Happy birthday, Bill.
thank you.
Happy birthday, Bill. Whoa.
Happy birthday.
Oh, didn't know it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Enjoy
Yes,
the
thank you.
day.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear
Bill.
Bill. Happy
Happy
birthday
Happy
to
birthday
you.
to you.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
All right, everybody. Whoa.